or to be honest with you, man, it's been kind of emotional to me. It's been very emotional, to actually accept the truth as it is. I think for me, in South African politics, this is the greatest betrayal of all time. I don't know any other that meets this. I think mostly because of the magnitude of the man, who he is, right? Floyd Shivambu, if I'm sorry if I say his surname wrong. Everyone knows that's the brains of EFF. Mostly because of the relationship that he has with Umalem, and obviously him also being the founder. Together they are friends, they've been comrades like forever.
It could be a work of something bigger that's being planned.
Now
the reality of the press conference making that happen.
Okay, that's wishful thinking, buddy. That's wishful thinking. Ever since the elections ended, it's almost like they're stuck. They're just dumbfounded the way they don't know what to do. We did everything we could do. There's nothing we didn't do. Zulu people were together and they were demoted from the ANC and they created their own thing and they got together to try and represent themselves outside of the ANC, right? And the MK got so much votes on those spaces. That's the only reason. MK had not, literally they had something that looked like it's come from some chat GPT of some sort, like some 7 points or some shit like that. Bro, they had nothing. And I am saying this is playing at the hands of Floyd Shivambu. This is playing at the hands of Floyd Shivambu. If you look at where the MK is, it needs a Floyd, actually.
But there is no other way of no other party you could go to a one.
There's no other party that makes sense in terms of size he could have went to, because going back to the ANC was going to be more of a sellout. Okay, right now it's a betrayal, but going back to the ANC is a sellout. Nobody can say they saw this coming. Maybe only one man, Jacob Zuma, bro. I give the man, bro. I say chess master, that one, dog. Yeah, man. Can you hear me, buddy?
I can, man. I can.
Okay, so let's get to it, man. Let's just jump right to it, bro. So much has happened. I wasn't planning to record anything, at least not now. I feel very unsettled, I'm very busy, as you would know. Starts beginning of the year for us this side, so this is just unplanned, but the situation is calling for it, bro. The situation is demanding it. To be fair, or to be honest with you, man, it's been kind of emotional to me. It's been very emotional, to actually accept the truth as it is right now, as things stand. I will say maybe anyone who has the love and the support for EFF maybe is feeling the same way. I thought about how could I capture this? What's the best way to capture this experience? I think for me, in South African politics, this is the greatest betrayal of all time. I don't know any other that meets this. I feel like people have left political parties. They have what. This is it's the greatest of all time. I think mostly because of the magnitude of the man, who he is, right? Floyd Shivambu, if I'm sorry if I say his surname wrong. Everyone knows that's the brains of EFF. That's the guy, Everyone knows that's what he has done. He's literally the roots of the party. We're not talking about someone who's just in some position there, MEC there, and what's not. We're talking about Floyd. the deputy president of the party. You know, for me, that's how I feel like
one of the
the deputy president.
I was reading a paper when he was saying it's like one of the founders of basically the party too.
Yeah, he founded the party with Malema. You know, to me, this house feels like the greatest political betrayal of all time. I can't find anything that's better than this one. I feel like there hasn't been, like, even if you think back to COPE and all those political parties, like, that came out of the ANC and how, like, you know, it doesn't feel the same way. The magnitude feels bigger. Like, I can feel the tension it's caused for me. I think also, mostly because of the relationships that he has with Malema, and obviously him also being the founder. Together they are friends, they've been comrades like forever, for the longest time. So this is why I feel like this about this whole issue actually of Floyd.
No, I can understand. Even when he was writing, I think I was reading whatever tweets in terms of how he feels about the situation. But are we now removing the idea that it's a work of something bigger? Because I think initially you had made an assumption or had a thought that it could be a work of something bigger that's being planned. Now is the reality of the press conference making that a doubt?
Okay, that's wishful thinking, buddy. That's wishful thinking. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are a couple of things that obviously could be at play, okay? The first thing is the obvious one. They have a fallout with Malema and the relationship is irreparable. So they have to go separate ways, you know? That's one, because apparently during the discussion as to with the results and everything, as to where the political parties was standing at that time. Remember, but I said this to you, if you remember correctly, even Uzek, I was saying this to him a lot during holidays, and Uzek got away without actually giving me the episode I had asked him for, which is, I felt like EFF is stuck. It's like, but they did everything you could imagine, everything they could have done. They did everything, they gave everything they could, and it didn't work. You know, if you think about the FNP, Malema rising, I mean, with the thingy, the stand there, you know, the whole thing, they did everything that you could imagine. And instead of at least getting, like, even if they didn't reach their goals, but getting at least something of somewhat like a growth or something like that, or even maintaining the same numbers they had before, they declined, you know. So that's negative feedback from a positive effort, do you see? And I felt then after that, ever since the elections ended, it's almost like they're stuck. They're just dumbfounded the way they don't know what to do. We did everything we could do. There's nothing we didn't do. And we instead of taking a step or even maintaining our ground, we took a step backwards. And this was my issue. And I told Uzek this, because I could feel it. That like Abbas benzene, you know. That's what I felt. That's what I felt for the most part. So apparently they at the back, Malema, which is obviously because that's one thing he kept pronouncing, which was Malema didn't want the G units. He was on the side of not wanting to do with anything that says not the G units, the GNU. I'm saying G units now. G units, 50 Cent. I'm saying G units, the GNU. So he didn't want anything to do with the GNU. Apparently he was representing that side. Meanwhile, Floyd was representing the side of, EFF needs to start playing a part. We need to be ministers there. We need to start actually participating in the space. That's one thing that is being said, by people. We can never know for sure, but this is one of the things that is being said. Okay, another thing that is being said is that, this is wishful thinking. People thinking this could be a start of MK and EFF merging in the future. Okay, it's possible for EFF and MK to match, but I don't think this is done on purpose to help that. No, this is not done on purpose to help that. Yeah, so that's just rubbish. It's just wishful thinking. People who are hurt and unable to accept and take it. That's how I feel about that. And then another thing other people were suggesting were like the VPS things and stuff like that, which I think, I don't think so. That has been there for so long. I don't see this. They're just reaching. I don't see this actually playing that role in actually making Floyd to leave the EFF. I don't think that's I don't think so. I think for me, it's obvious if you know body language and you watch the press conference. It was quite obvious for me that it's just a fallout between Floyd and Malema, I would say, at the top. It's just that.
Man, what kind of a fallout? It has to be a heavy fallout, as we have made many points on what that fallout could be, for someone to decide to leave a party that they had been initially from the beginning to be a part of, to go to a party that just basically formed, I don't know, like yesterday.
But let's put it like this. Let's see it's like this. Let's try to. The only person that I can imagine myself having a fallout with is you, actually, like that. Let's say, for an example, me and you, we have to be. Let's say we came here as a double deal. If you leave, I have to leave. Do you see now where it would put us? Because now they are at crossroads whereby someone is saying I'm taking left and another person is like, I'm sure I'm taking right. You see? So that's how it feels like for me. It feels like they done everything. They just came at the point whereby it's just the vision is not the same. We cannot agree with the vision anymore. And then something had to give, and which just so happened that Floyd had to be the one who leaves.
Okay. Now let's take a bit of a step back. I mean, I'm trying to see this from Floyd's perspective. Okay. In terms of, MK, it's just newly formed. As you were discussing, I think it was this year in the beginning, how it sometimes it's missing a lot of basically feels in how it's going to work as a party. How is he putting himself in a position where he's going to a place that doesn't have necessarily structures? Okay, good. I like it, buddy. This is why I miss you. So, see, buddy, actually, that favors Floyd. Actually, it plays on his hands so much. The idea that the same thing that I was saying to you about MK. Guys, I am a Zulu person, dog. I live in KZN. I know what people were saying. And social media, you could tell. The Zulus were together. We know how Zulu people move. We know them. That's one thing you can tell. The Zulu people were together and they were demoted from the ANC and they created their own thing and they got together to try and represent themselves outside of the ANC, right? And the MK got so much votes on those spaces. That's the only reason. MK had not, literally they had something that looked like it's come from some chat GPT of some sort, some 7 points or some shit like that. Bro, they had nothing. They didn't have no manifesto, nothing. It's like, yo, bro, so nas izinto ezu7 so qedukinanglo khamba wagesi tholele ispan. They had nothing. And I am saying this is playing at the hands of Floyd Shivambu. This is playing at the hands of Floyd Shivambu. If you look at where the MK is, it needs a Floyd. Actually, that's the guy you need, because that's his basically I would say, because Floyd is not necessarily a recruiter, buddy. He's not someone who is a mass mobilizer type of guy. He doesn't have the flair of Malema, especially when he speaks. He doesn't have the charisma. He's the brains, right? He's the guy who's gonna draft you a document and make your party look like a party that's an academia can understand, something that will make sense. He will write a thesis and create understandable policies and create a structure for you. He's that guy. He's gonna give you that. And the point where MK is now,
having a Floyd is just literally it's like a marriage made in heaven. Floyd and MK, in that sense, they just fit each other in that sense. If you're gonna have a Floyd and you have a party that doesn't have policies and like it's just shambles, and you still need to put together structures, create policies, create constitutions and what's not of the party, whatever you want to create, and then Floyd, is the guy. So that's where it's working in that sense. Now, while just still sticking with MK, this is the problem that I see. I foresee this problem. Actually, I'm gonna go as far as saying, give or take. I'm sorry, actually, to say this. I don't mean to put it like this, but if Jacob Zuma was to pass away, for an example, you would see MK. They won't have a center. Right now, they have a clear center. And the center is at Nkandla. The offices are at Nkandla. It's clear where the center is, right? Okay, it's clear. The center is very clear. Now, if you take Jacob Zuma out of the equation, the center is not going to hold. And you're going to have problems. I can tell you right now, you are going to have problems and problems and problems and problems. This situation reminds me of something. Remember when I said to you, actually, remember the other time I was talking, I'm saying, I feel like, for example, Chinese people, with my experience, like with interacting with Chinese people, and they're just better than us in terms of how they like to follow like leadership and stuff like that, rather than everyone trying to be a leader. I think that's one of the worst things about like just black people. We don't have unity for the most part because everyone thinks they are the guy, or they want to be the guy. They want to be the face. It has to be me. I think we have that problem so much that everyone believes that they are the man. And that's a problem that we have. We face that a lot. So then whereas when you have people who are able to follow the leadership and stuff like that and put egos down, this is why they will do better than us. And I will foresee right now that what is happening to EFF right now, when Jacob Zuma, God forbid, passes away, I mean, he's an old man, bro. He's in his 80s. What else? I mean, we all have, give or take, we all have 100 years. I mean, come on now, So if you take away Jacob Zuma, I wonder if they're going to be ready, if they're going to have a clear center by then. That's my biggest concern. They're not going to be ready, and they're not going to have a clear center. That's my biggest concern with them.
At the moment, nobody's being groomed to become that center.
Yeah, no. At the moment, no. Everyone knows that the center is in Nkandla, and Jacob Zuma is the center. The old man is the center. Everybody knows that. Do you see? So for me, that's where I see their problem going forward. As far as Floyd moving there, it's a fit. I see why. Again, it's the greatest betrayal of all time in South African politics, in my own opinion. I say this again, the greatest betrayal of all time. Not now because they could be having problems with Malema and what's not, just to the people. It's just a disservice to the people, bruh. Like, they sold the EFF, Because now, to me, it also then comes back to say, actually, we supported the EFF and believe in them so much and forgot that, man, these guys are actually politicians. It's their careers to be politician. So it's how they live. It's their lives to be politician. This is what they do. Right now, it's like basically, it's almost like Real Madrid buying Mbappe from PSG. That's how it's like. It's literally. That's how it's like. And it's their career. Mbappe has to go to Real Madrid. It's for his career. And this is what is happening. It's their careers. These guys, it's their careers. To us, it's life and what's not. And to them too. They have to feed their families and what's not. And it's their careers. It's what they do as work.
Now, obviously, as you are saying, it's quite a good fit. Was there no other way or no other party he could go to except this one?
there's no other party that makes sense in terms of size he could have went to, because going back to the ANC was going to be more of a sellout. Okay, right now it's a betrayal, but going back to the ANC is a sellout. The reason I'm saying it's a betrayal rather than a sellout is because the EFF and Mkhonto weSizwe is more or less the same thing in a way when it comes to policy and like political views and basically what they seek to achieve is the same, right? They have the same like sort of theory basically that they are following. They are following this. They are the same in terms of policy, understanding, and what they're trying to do. It's the same. We know what they represent. You know, they are much more what people would say the black parties. They represent blackness. This. You know, they are in that side. We know, right? So they are the same. So in that sense, it's not a sellout. I wouldn't say Floyd sold out per se, but if he went to DA or the ANC, that's what's going to be selling out. Yeah, but Mkhonto weSizwe is more of like just a betrayal, I would say, rather than a sellout. The reason I call it a betrayal, I cannot JC, me and you, we go together and we say we are going to fight a person, and we do it together, we fight this person, and then you choose to join them. The fuck, bro? While we are fighting, while we were there with you and we fought this person, we took them down, they are out, all of a sudden you are joining them. What about what we've built together? So that's why that's why I am saying it's a betrayal in that sense. Like how? You know? Because, buddy, nobody saw this coming. The only thing I saw that the EFF is stuck and they're going to have problems, right? And I knew that. I've been saying this during the whole July holidays. They're going to have a problem. You can sense that they're stuck. They don't know what to do in terms of progress to go forward because they've done everything they could. I said that. But this one, I didn't see this coming. Nobody can say they saw this coming. Maybe only one man, Jacob Zuma, bro. I give the man, bro. I said chess master. That one, dog. Yo, Atakshala, right now the score 10-0. 0 Julius Malema, 10 Jacob Zuma. That's what that score right now looks like that. Bro, this guy came, the MK was nearly out of the ballot. They made it to the ballot. No policies, nothing, no manifestos, nothing. 7 things or 5 things there. ChatGPT, yo, yeah. ChatGPT things, here. That's it. And then, boom, they do better than the EFF. And then after that, he's just moving the piece and taking the queen. Because that's what I would say Floyd Shivambu is in a chessboard. That's the queen for the EFF. He was the guy, the brains, the person who's able to make the moves behind and protect the king, Malema, so that Malema can be, and represent and have someone who's looking out for him. So, and Zuma took that. Yeah, Zuma took that. So, bro, you have to give it, dog. It's a master technician, bro, the guy. He's a master, He knows tactics, bro. He got it, dog. You have to give him that. Now, the question that I have, though, is what's next for the EFF? How do they move from here? Now, one of the biggest things is that they're expecting that more people will be leaving.
Yeah.
For me, I think the reason I would say this. The EFF going through this is a beginning of an end.
I mean, geez.
The EFF going through this.
How many of it?
Yeah, the EFF going through this is a beginning of an end, buddy. And maybe let's wait and see who else leaves. But I'm arguing that one of the reasons is that Floyd is the one who recruited Mlondi, for an example, to come to EFF. So if we are going with that, we can expect people like Mlondi following Floyd. Might not be Mlondi per se, because there are other people recruited by Floyd to the EFF. So you can expect other people who are key members, who play key roles in the EFF following Floyd, right, to MK. Hence, I'm saying the beginning of an end. This is how it looks like. Julius Malema is Julius Malema is a great leader. I don't wanna say because he's being beaten left and right now, the man is down. And yeah, bro, the man is down and losing the game. I don't wanna count him out. I just don't see a way out. I don't see how does he maneuver himself out of this situation. How does he maneuver himself around the situation? It is what it is. It's like this now. It's your deputy, bro. Your friend, even worse. How do you maneuver around that?
I think even personally and psychologically, that has to be traumatic in some other way. Because now that affects you not only like business-wise and political, it's basically personal. It's like a personal attack.
Yeah. See, that's another thing.
He has to think about it.
Yeah. Because this is his friend. It's not just anybody. You see? So he has to think about that. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's very tough, dog. It's a tough one. It's very hard to maneuver this one out. I have no idea. Like, to be fair with you, I'm still saying it's a beginning of an end. I just don't see a way out. Unless, as we were saying, which is wishful thinking when people are saying maybe to match. I feel like if they wanted to match, there was going to be something else. True that this could trigger some things with Floyd in there and then find a way to match EFF and controversies. True, but they are not doing this for that. This happened outside of that factor.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's too big of a jump to assume it's a merge. It doesn't. There's no link between what's happening and a merge, basically, to happen. I can see what you mean when you say that.
Yeah, there's no link between that. There's nothing that suggests there's a match. It's more like someone just leaving the party to join another party. So, yeah, man. Anyway, bro, as if there's something I'm leaving out in this saga. I don't know if I have something that I'm leaving out, but yeah, Malema.
I think the only thing I was reading is actually obviously how he was feeling about it, Malema, when he was, because I think the article I was reading, it was saying, he even mentioned something like, obviously the party never allows people to come back to the party after they've left, especially if they're joining another party, but he would welcome him back with warm arms if he were to decide to come back.
He would
a lot on his own.
Yeah, that he would welcome Floyd back. Okay, now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one of the reasons, actually, I don't like to, when stories break, I don't like to be the first person to cover the story. I like to sit back and listen because I catch things that maybe I wasn't expecting or thinking. Another problem now, moving to the EFF, there is a sense that Julius Malema is running the EFF with an iron fist. There's that sense. It's almost like he tends to override anything that is decided by the organization. So the organization can decide anything and then he can just override it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like it's his way or the highway type of vibe. So the organization, yes, sometimes they get to decide things and disagree with him, but it mostly seems to be for the most important things, he has the final say beyond what the organization is saying. Okay. One good example is the thing that you are saying right now. Okay. You have a constitution of a party that says we do not allow anyone who leaves the party to join other parties to come back to this party. And you by yourself, you are saying you would override that. Do you see? Because he's saying for Floyd, he would let him come back. So then what does it say about the constitution of the party? So this means you can override and control the constitution of the party. So isn't that a decision that the party would have to make? Do you see? So do you see those? Yes, do you see now? So you see these things are starting to show now. They're starting to show in that way. You see? So it's starting to show in that way that if then the iron fist that people are talking about is reflecting and is showing now, then with the things that he's saying. If you can just by yourself solely decide that because your friend is leaving and your friend was the founder, you can just ignore the constitution of the party and take the decision that you would welcome them back, and not say I would fight maybe or convince anyone with me in the party that we need to bring you back. You know, he is making it as a decision that he would have to take by himself, buddy.
Okay, I can hear how it sounds in terms of wording, but as people who do psychology, I think we can also look at the fact that it's a, I don't know when I say it's a cry out, but it's that psychological thing of showing how much of a bond he believes that they have between two, that there's a relationship beyond what is actually written on paper. I think it's mostly like that call out, that I love you so much that I will welcome you back. Not necessarily, maybe, obviously I don't know how, but maybe not in the same position as you would have been in, but I will welcome you back as a brother, that I love you in that sense.
That is clear, buddy. Yeah, of course, that is clear. On a social perspective, on like a human to human social perspective, that's what he meant. It's clear that's what he meant. But it says a lot, though, indirectly about the things that people were saying about him. Do you see? The idea that you can just still stand on the podium and say you would override the constitution of the party to bring him back. Do you see? So it's almost like a reflection of that, indirectly. As much as we know what he meant, but indirectly, it's like a reflection of that. The idea that he tends to take decisions by himself. This means there are things that the constitution of the party might disagree with that he takes by himself. I would argue that for something like, let's say, Carl Niehaus. I don't know, you know Carl Niehaus, the white guy who used to be Mandela's spokesperson back in the days. He's in the EFF now. Okay, so if you look at the example of someone like him, he's in parliament. He just joined the EFF and he was taken to parliament. I would argue that for members of the EFF that have been there and hoping that their turn to go to parliament will come, they are not happy with that decision being taken. I'm not saying, I don't know. I'm not saying Malema took such a decision by himself to take someone like, there were many people like Carl Niehaus who just joined the EFF, and on the eve of them joining the EFF, they were taken to parliament because of their profiles, of course. But then a person who's a ground soldier who is working hard for the party could have used that opportunity too. Do you see? I would. So then if you look at things in that sense, then things like Malema running the EFF with the iron fist are kind of like, showing, it's like it becomes apparent, actually, that's given that he does the things that he does. It's very tough, man. It's a tough one to take, man. It's a tough one to take.
Yeah,
it's very tough.
It's a tough one because obviously, we have that thing of we're looking from the outside in, so we don't know what goes on inside. We can only go on assumption and that idea.
Yeah, that's a problem because we can never know the actual truth as to why he actually left, except for what they tell us, I guess, But it's clear, man. This decision was not going to come if there were no tensions between them or things behind the scenes that they are not finding each other on. It's clear. It's clear on that. It's very much clear.
But yeah, man, I think the thing you have been raising about where to from here is a very big question.
Yeah, it's a very big question. It's very hard to say where the EFF would go from here. That's very true. It's very hard to say where they would go from here. Anyway, man,
now, given the situation, before you even start to say your given the situation, I'm just throwing this out there. Would you say, in some weird way, that GNU has technically found a way to destabilize? I mean, isn't that the creation of it is the one that's causing this destabilization, or maybe it's the MK that was causing the destabilization of the EFF?
No, it's the MK. It's the MK. It's not the GNU. It's the MK. That's caused the destabilization. It's so funny actually how the MK wanted to recruit. The EFF wanted to recruit Jacob Zuma. Wanted to recruit Jacob Zuma from before he even formed Mkhonto weSizwe to come join the EFF, and now it looks like more like the EFF should be joining the MK, because the MK is clearly the bigger party. All of the sudden, it's funny actually how life has went and things are coming back like that. Things are very dire right now for the EFF particularly. And then my worry about the whole thing is that the dream will never be achieved. It will never. I can tell you with confidence that Africa will always be manipulated and the big businesses will always take over. Like, I can tell you those things with confidence. So the way I wasn't living, but in Jabusutsi I'm living. I was thinking of other things now, actually drawing from this conversation that we're coming from. When I was in South Africa, I was at, we know the current biggest problem in South Africa, people are starving, people are hungry. So when I went there, I was in SA not long ago. I was in a supermarket, and then, politics and economy started, me, buddy. Things started getting in my head. I started thinking other things. And then I started looking at products. Actually, people were looking at me there by ShopRite and by Boxer like I'm crazy. Because I was literally just taking all products and just reading them. Just looking at the products and reading them. And I find it very interesting. There are so many things that are ingrained in South Africa that you would think they are South African, and they are not. And I think this is where my issue is. As Africans, and I feel sorry for South Africa because this move by Floyd, actually, I think it's going to impact so much, actually, going forward, even generations possible, actually. I think so. Why I'm saying this is because the vision of Africa having to achieve their own goals and be able to sustain themselves and be able to be independent from the West is dim. It's not anywhere close to being realized. And moves like this in the political space actually make that reality even more realer than what it is. And it's very much real that we would never achieve our economic independency. Okay, going back to when I was in SA. So when I look at the products in South Africa, most of the products that we sell, they are not South African products, obviously, because we don't produce things. But I find something very interesting and very dangerous is that some of the products that are not South African, they will be called South African, like saying Red Bull South Africa. Red Bull is not a South African company, man. Red Bull is from Germany. Sunlight, the washing liquid. We grow up in the Sunlight washing liquid. You would think it's a South African brand. It is not. Aromat, you would think the way they're ingrained in our culture, you would think Aromat, Sunlight is a South African thing. They are not. Because a Black Label, many people think Black Label is a South African product. It's not a South African product. And I was looking at all these things that I'm saying to you. I'm looking at Amakeno Red Bull. I'm looking at those things. You have chocolates will say Nestle South Africa. Is Nestle from South Africa? It is not. So you would always have a situation whereby you are ran by foreign entities and you will never realize your own independence. I mean, true independence. I'm not talking about political independence because it's rubbish. I'm talking about independence where you are able to feed yourself and sustain yourself. And that's my worry. When I go to SA stores and I check things are, even some of the things are made to be South African, and we know they are not South African, but the way they are branded, you would think that, because to someone who doesn't know anything and people who don't pay attention or don't follow things, they don't know economics, they don't know what's happening basically in the world, they have no idea. For someone who doesn't know stuff like that, they would think, oh, actually, like, Black Label, they would think those things and be surprised to how much we don't have, like, as a country. We don't have anything. Because right now, if you were to cross path with America and fight with about America right now, and they say you are under sanctions, oh boy, you are doomed. Because only then you realize, oh, KFC is not South African. Only then you realize that. Oh, this is not, oh, they taking Pick and Pay. What? Only then you realize that, yo, you don't have anything. Oh, all of a sudden, oh, so BMW is not ours. Oh, Mercedes-Benz is not, like, only then you realize. Because of how some brands are pushed that you believe that they're South African products, for an example. To me, things like this, actually, they put the future, I would say, in such a dim place. Like, you know, it just takes off the lights and it makes a person discouraged, actually, you know. And some of the things, of course, I know. I remember when my brother was trying to recruit me. I remember when I told you, when they're trying to make me something, EFF, what's not. And it's these type of things that I always said I hate about politics. And that make me never want to participate as a politician, but maybe support someone that I think maybe are sharing the right views, but not sacrifice my life to try and say we believe in a vision. Because then all of a sudden, the person that you thought is carrying the vision, the way you thought they're carrying it, they're not carrying the vision. Do you see? You know, I'm saying that because to me, with all love, I feel like MK is a party that was developed and almost like in the same circumstance, more or less like, it's almost more reactional party rather than a party that is meant to be. You know, because remember, Zuma forming MK was saying he's trying to save the ANC. It's like a breakout because they are having this thing, you know. That's how I feel about it, and I feel like their end is coming too. Do you see? And yeah, for me, that's why I feel the way I feel about the whole situation, because of the framework and everything that it represents. There's so many mistakes.
I mean, when you look at these things, like in terms of, you know, I don't know, of things that actually usually just happen. I mean, if you look at things like Apple and Steve Jobs, where he had to remove himself, obviously, or he was removed, and he created something else, and then they had to call him back to try and save the thing. Who knows? Maybe at some point this thing could come back like that in the future, where someone like who Julius comes. Gets called to come and save something that's falling apart. It's a dream, but it's a possibility.
It's wishful thinking, man. I think it's just wishful thinking. It's like that's what someone who's hurt would say. That's just yeah, man. It's just wishful thinking, bro. At this time, it's like saying, "Yo, I wish Ronaldo was playing for Kaizer Chiefs." That's just wishful thinking, bro. It is what it is.
All voices need to be heard, man. All voices need to be heard. People who have wishful thinking need to feel themselves being heard, at least their thoughts being said out loud. But I understand what you mean. It is wishful thinking, but you know, some people can dream.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, but this means a lot, and that's why I say this. It means a lot, though. It says a lot too about the future of the country. And then because one of the things that was trending was this thing that Malema always says with the open borders and stuff. Yo, sometimes I have a, you know, yo bruh, Malema sometimes talk, buddy, you know.
I think you brought it up before, the idea of open borders and obviously the
because
the implications it might have.
It keeps on coming back over and over, and it has the same implications. It's almost like those things that should have been one of those things that you just say as a thing that you have, but not make it your main objective and your main thing and stuff like that, because it just makes things so worse actually for them, the EFF actually. And I feel because it's literally very far. Even if we were in a better space as Africans, it's just very difficult to put it through. without anyone forcing us, like right now, like just freely. If we were to be told, yo guys, do your thing, it's very hard. It's not as easy as people make it to sound. And I don't know why the obsession that Malema keeps on having about that, because this thing keeps coming back every time shit like this happen.
But
yeah, what else happens in the political space, bro, before, and not just close this, let's just make this hour. What else did happened around?
No, I think the only thing that I've been reading is not necessarily political. Because what happened here is Ilokuj obviously doesn't exist anymore. In my respect, United. It's basically there's no such thing anymore because the home now is being moved to Durban. I think it's going to be called Durban City or some shit like that. I mean, you've been here in PNP, you've lived here. How was the experience of you living in PNP and having the teams like WPS and coming to play here? How was the feeling? Do you feel like the feeling was big as when teams are going to Durban to play them?
I think obviously because Durbans tend to have more attraction than in terms of marketing. Durban is well marketed because it has the beach, of course, then Pietermaritzburg. So I mean, so it only makes sense, especially when you have people from Joburg coming to KZN, that the place that they would like to go to is Durban over Pietermaritzburg, because Durban has more things than Pietermaritzburg too. Like, what do you do in Pietermaritzburg? Yeah, well, so with that in mind, obviously Durban will take advantage because you have more when you are in Durban rather than when you are in Pietermaritzburg, But the only thing I don't like about the thing that you're saying, it's like, Mzansi, like, we don't, right, JC, yes, we are bad, bro. Like, we don't preserve things. Like, you took away Celtics. You took away Celtic, Royally, like, bro, like, dog, we don't preserve things, dog. Like, we don't have that in us to understand things, to understand history and appreciate it. Dog, I cannot, just because I made $1 billion, I buy Orlando Pirates and call it, MMG club, or Mlondi Ngubane, like, club. The fuck, bro, it's Orlando Pirates, dog. You know that people grew up on that you're gonna call Mlondi Ngubane club all of a sudden. Like, we don't have that. Just because you have money, and then Suzosi, guys, Segui, Ngubane FC. Like, the fuck, bro? It's Orlando Pirates, dog. That's culture, that's heritage. And again, why are we not like England? Why these things are not protected by law? You can't change Manchester United. It's there. You cannot change these things, bro. You cannot. You can't just wake up and say, because I'm buying Arsenal, Arsenal in Zoibiza, near Willow FC because I'm from Willow. The fuck? Doesn't work like that, dog. It doesn't work like that. Hey, bro, like in SA, we don't have that, dog. We just don't carry that. I just hate bro, it's so frustrating. And now also going back to the documentary that I saw that you showed me. That documentary bothered me so much. The piece, the thing that you sent me of that documentary bothered me so much. I've told this thing to like 5 other people. When the Chinese guy is talking to the Congolese guy and saying, you were oppressed by German for 50 years and you didn't learn anything from them. You were oppressed for 50 years, you didn't learn anything from them. As a matter of fact, the things that they had built in your country and left for you, you destroyed all of them. It's like how black people did with what you call the place there in Joburg. Heathrow. Heathrow. Yeah, like if you look at Heathrow in the 70s and Heathrow right now, it's a dumpster. Like, we were oppressed. From the oppression, we didn't learn anything from these people because we are not producing anything. Instead, even the things they left, we destroy them. So sad. It's so sad, bruh. Like, you have no excuse. Skills should have been transferred if that was the case. You were oppressed and something should have happened. And then you have Chinese people here who didn't have the same advantage to learn from anyone, who have to start things from scratch. They didn't even have one to begin with. They had to build things from scratch. This is what the Chinese guy was saying. Like, you guys have railways here running, you destroyed them. The things, yes, fine, these people oppressed you, but they still left a railway station that's so long, and you destroyed that. You didn't even develop anything after that. That's a representation of you. It's the same thing the ANC does. The same thing. They take over the government from the apartheid government, and then everything has to deteriorate and die and not come up with new things. The freeways in South Africa, the roads in South Africa, they were built back then. We came to a point whereby we're having load shedding because nothing has been done to actually upgrade the grid of the country until it falls apart. Like nothing. So this what we do. Like, you don't learn from that. Like, we don't have it, dog. We just don't have it. And when the Chinese guy says this, but you could feel the tension. It's like, fine, that's happened. And worse, you are saying you were oppressed by these people for 50 years and you didn't learn anything from them. The worst part, you even destroyed what they built in your country. Meanwhile, you look at China. China is a superpower right now, and they didn't even have those things in their countries. They didn't have railways like that were built by oppressors and shit like that for them. They had to start everything from scratch. Now listen to that. We are nowhere to be found, dog. We are nowhere to be found. You can talk about any industrial revolution. We are nowhere to be seen. Even Industrial Revolution 10, we're never going to be seen anywhere. We are nowhere to be found. And I feel like most of the time, I think, not to say the excuses that we have are not valid, because the West is very much in control and plays a huge hand to keep us the way we are. But we don't have the political will. We do not have the political will. Yeah, I have to say I'm one of the people too. I'm saying these things as one of the people without the political will. Because look at me. I'm enjoying my life. I'm having my career. I'm making my money. Fuck that. That's how we are. We leave the space because it's bad. We can't live there, and we try to find greener pastures somewhere else, and we only care about our families and stuff like that. There is no revolution within us. There isn't. I want to fight for the country, and I don't want to be honest with you, bro. I'm not in the space for that, bro. I feel like just black people, nah, bro. Never, dog. I never sacrifice myself for those things.
Isn't having dialogue and conversations about how things are going part of the change?
Nope, I disagree actually. The reason I disagree is because I've noted this thing. And it's namanje, we have this platform called Twitter where we know everything that's wrong with the country, but it ends there on Twitter. Like, you'd be surprised. A topic is trending number 1 with 30,000, 40,000 engagements. Oh, so everybody knows what is going on. People are talking about issues, they are very much aware of what is going on, but it ends on Twitter and there's no political will beyond that. It ends there. There's no political will beyond that. And we will be fucked forever, and we deserve to be fucked like that. Because we don't get it. We don't get it. We deserve it. We don't get it. Because the people who get it, if you look at the president of Burkina Faso, for an example, this guy is gets it. But we are going to watch him the day America comes for him. Just like how we watched Gaddafi. Just like how we watched Lumumba. Like how we watched all of them. When the worst comes to get them and kill them so that they can maintain control, we're going to watch. And yeah, we are watching because what the fuck are we going to do anyway? We don't produce no weapons. We don't have the means to defend ourselves. If America feels like, let me fuck up South Africa next week, that's what they're going to do. They're going to fuck us. There's nothing we're going to do. There's nothing. We can't defend ourselves against America. We cannot defend ourselves. They can do whatever they want to do, just like how Israel is able to do whatever it wants to do with Gaza people. There is nothing you can do. This says a lot. There is nothing. They can kill 100 kids. What are you going to do? You don't have the political will. You don't have the organization skill. You don't have you don't have it. We are just not, we are nowhere to be found when it comes to that. We are not, JC. And one of the biggest problems is shits like this. Floyd is moving to this, MK now, shit like this. We cannot unite about simplest things. The fuck, talking about opening borders. Now you want to tell me if the EFF won and then they were going to open borders, and then somewhere down the line, if they decide to fight and then we have open borders and now they are fighting by themselves. That's what we are saying, Pel. We are saying, let's imagine a world whereby everything ends up happening the way EFF wanted it to. Given now that Floyd is leaving, who knows what else was going to happen down the line to separate them. Now we have all these things that you advocated for. Now you cannot stand for them. Because this is what it means. Because so we don't have the unit. If anything that he wanted would happen when we were there, like now you want to leave then. So what about the things that you wrote even worse as one of the founders? What about those things? All of a sudden, do you see? Like we don't have that unity. As I'm saying, Jacob Zuma would pass and the MK would be in the same place, and we're going to be talking like this about the MK. There isn't. People, we don't have the we do not have the political organization, the will, we do not. Umazenzela, everyone find your own, do your own thing. Umaitalela, dog. You know, that's why I said this to Amachit. Yeah, I keep saying this to Amachit. I cannot sacrifice my life, my well-being for political movements and stuff like that, because I know how y'all are. I know how it's like. It's like, because it could start like this, and if things work out, all of a sudden I'm the target. All of a sudden you guys think I shouldn't be in my position. You guys are better leaders than me and what's not, and forget that you're the one who thought I was that in the beginning. It's because of those type of things. It's though we don't have like. So if Floyd and Malema can break up, like these guys, they've known each other since youth league. These are grown-ass men in their 40s. They've known each other since youth league, bro. And they can break up like that after building an organization and starting an idea and making us believe in the idea. So then what's open border? Open what? Again? Do you see the problem? You know? So do you see the problem? Do you see? So how could you say, how could you advocate and say all the things and then be the same person who leaves that organization? It's a big issue. I have a big issue with that type of thing. This is why I just feel like it is the worst political betrayal ever. I still think it's a betrayal.
Would it have worked better if he was resigning and not joining anyone?
No. Maybe better a little, but still no. Still no. Unless maybe there are like health reasons and stuff like that, like real substantial reasons, and then you give him, okay, the man is trying to be with his kids now, he's dying, he's having this, understandable, you know. But Nakona, he wouldn't be resigning, he would just be recuse himself from positions and not be an active participant in the struggle. Not to leave the struggle and leave ideas you wrote and started and say other people must continue. You are going to write other ideas with other people now on another side. The fuck, bro. And this is my issue, as I'm saying.
I think this whole thing looks like a reality that everybody's basically sleeping and it's happening until people actually start waking up and realize, oh shit, this is actually real. This is happening. This happened.
Yeah.
This guy is gone and he's...
Yeah. It feels like a death almost. It's so sad. It feels like someone died. Like it's like way beyond.
I can see the internet. I can see.
You would swear that this man is dead or something. So yeah, it is bad, man. There is no way around it. I can't say it any other way. It just is what it is, and it's just, I just don't know what you do if you are a Malema. What is the way out? Where do you begin? I have no idea, and I don't have answers for those type of things actually. Yeah, but it says a lot though about us though. That's my biggest thing. That's why when I'm home, I tell people, guys, you can never, ever, don't even ever think we can be able to compete Chinese. Never. Not in your lifetime, boy. Forget it. Can give black people 10 lifetimes. They are not going to get this one. We're just not. JC. You know, I was imagining like developments of Africa. We are always going to be the last place to develop, like in any industrial revolution. We're going to be the last place to achieve it, the last place all the time. So China and America and all the West, they would develop things. They would develop things. Basically, that would. They would develop things that would, at the time, for an example, right now, look where they are, what they are making in terms of technology, going outside of space and stuff like that. Tina will always be the last one to have that. Right now, there are driverless cars in America, in China. We're gonna be the last people to have that, you know. But when everyone is done with driverless cars, now it's like a normalized thing, and then we're gonna have driverless cars. When everyone, we're always gonna be. It's almost like when everyone is done developing themselves, and then they're like, okay, now that we're done doing this, can we do it there? The same thing that's currently happening with Ama Bridge and fast trains that Chinese companies are building in Africa. Is that, okay, now we've built all these railways, we know this, we got this. Let's go do it in Africa and make money there, because we've done it in our country. Traveling in China, I mean, we know, bruh, it's like pudding, dog. Smooth, bruh. It's smooth ride traveling in China, you know, because of how much they've developed themselves. And in Africa, China would have to finish first with themselves and then go offer us that, because we will never do anything, because we don't get it. And we have this, that's why I would say this is nonsense, actually. This type of shit whereby, like, we have a Floyd who's leaving the political party he created. Like, bruh. Anyway, I rest my case, man. I rest my case. And he's leaving to be a nobody. Like, because he doesn't have a position there. He's leaving a position of, tell me, he's a deputy president. He is in parliament. He's a member of parliament. He's been like, he's a main person in the organization, the next thing to the president. He makes like he is that guy, and he leaves that. I mean, bro, from what I saw, bro, that's a sad reality. But as we said, we hope there's something around the corner that they are planning somehow. Yeah, man.
Let's hope that this will be the reality.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, buddy. Thank you, man, for coming through.
No problem, bro.
Sure, yo, I didn't sleep yesterday, yo. But we're gonna talk about why I didn't sleep off camera, of course.